Hi everyone, it's Andy at Trade Skills for You, and today I'm with Steve, my colleague, and we're going to be doing some conduit today. So Steve, what are we doing first?
Right, thank you very much Andrew for that introduction. We are going to, this morning, put a piece of conduit between these two accessory points here. It's a straightforward piece, there's no bends involved, and before I do that, I will introduce you to some of the equipment we're going to use to actually do that work.
Okay. I take it we're going to be using this contraption, Steve. What's this?
We are. It's a rather robust piece of kit, isn't it? It's basically our workstation for forming conduit, metal conduit, and also to cut metal conduit.
Okay, what's this bit here? What's this?
This bit is what's called the former. This is where we're actually bending the conduit. It enables us, because as you can imagine, conduit is rather strong. You can't put it around your neck and bend it. No. So you need something to bend it without kinking it.
I've noticed there's one down here. That's obviously for...
Yes, this one we've installed today is for what we call 20mm diameter sized conduit. Okay. The one down there is for 25mm. Yeah. Okay. And the vise simply facilitates holding and gripping the piece of work.
PPE?
PPE, it's good to have steel toe caps.
We've got our boots on, yeah.
Okay. I've got some glasses for reading, but we do have safety glasses for when I'm cutting the material. Okay.
Yeah. And all the tools, you can show us those in a bit as we go.
Yeah. Having a pair of work pants is good. Yeah. Okay, because we are going to use some compounds to facilitate the cutting of a thread. Right, okay. Okay. Now then, for this particular piece, first of all, we need to measure what length we're going to use. Okay. Now I have actually previously measured it, and what I did was actually measure between the two boxes. Okay. And this is actually 400mm. Okay. Okay. 400mm between the two ends. So, to actually put the conduit together, we need a length of conduit to cut to size. We also need what we call couplings, and these are what we call brass bushes. That's
to fasten the conduit to the...
That's right. So this would actually go inside the accessory box.
And that'll fasten on.
The coupler spins onto the outside. Okay. Okay. And we can tighten it up. Right. So really what we need then is a piece of conduit with two couplers on either end. We can simply, if I can just show you here, Andrew, we simply just slide it in between. Okay. And just put the bushes through. Right. Okay. So what length of conduit are we going to put? If we use a 400mm length,
it's going to be too short, is it? Or
too long? Okay. Too long, because we have to allow a thread on the actual conduit, yeah. But we also have to allow space for the bush to run up inside the coupling as well. So therefore our conduit isn't to the end. We have to put it roughly halfway. Okay. The easiest way to think about it is, well, if I'm using 2/2 of a coupling,
it's just going to go halfway through.
Basically, yeah. What's the length of this? It's about 30mm. So I've got a 400mm length, take off the 30mm, I'm going to cut this to 370mm. One thing you should bear in mind, the lengths of this conduit does come in quite long lengths.
Yeah, you've just got a piece that's been cut down here.
I have actually. Now then, put that there. Okay, so you have to be mindful people could walk onto this. So once you have actually finished the job, always remove the piece afterwards, and don't leave it in. Okay. Now when you buy
it's already got
a piece, it's got a thread at one end. You'll notice this one hasn't. Sometimes you'll have a section where there's no thread on either end, so you'll have to thread either end. So it is usually good practice actually to run your...
What's that?
This is what we call a stock and die. The stock are the handles and the blue body.
Yep.
The die is this piece in the middle,
That's going to cut the
which
thread.
actually cuts the thread. These come in different sizes, 20mm, 25, 32. Okay, here we've got a 20mm die inserted into the body.
Okay.
Okay.
It's going to clean that thread up a bit.
It is, and you never know, in transit sometimes the edges get a bit flattened, could be slightly damaged. And what we use an appropriate, what we call cutting compound. Okay, and this facilitates the ease of cutting of the metal, and it also preserves the longevity of your cutter as well.
Right, that's good.
Okay. Whenever you insert this, always have it at right angles to the piece. Don't have it to an angle.
And then just run it over the thread.
I'll just run it over the thread. Okay. And they're usually manufactured with approximately about 4 threads sticking out the back. So I'm going to measure the piece now, and as previously mentioned, it was 400mm between the 2 accessory points.
Yep.
I'm making an allowance of 30mm for the coupling.
Right.
Take that from the amount from the 400, leaving 370. So I'm now going to measure that,
Okay.
mark it, and once I've actually done that, I'm going to proceed to cut it. Okay, so there we go. 370. There we go.
You like the hacksaw?
Yes,
And some
please.
safety goggles,
glasses.
I think.
Thank you very much, sir.
I'll keep out of the way then while you're cutting that.
All right, okay. So it's important to remember when you're cutting this piece of conduit, it is at a slight angle, Andy.
Yeah, I noticed that, yeah.
So you need to cut it at right angles
Sort
to
of,
the actual tube. So you
yeah.
need to make sure you've got a line. You don't want
You know, of course.
a chamfered edge, as it were.
Yeah.
Okay. Start it off gently and use all of the length of the hacksaw blade. You'll notice that I am actually not too far from the actual vise itself.
So
You don't want to be cutting up here.
No.
Obviously it will float around.
Yeah.
And then as you get to the end of the cut, just lessen the pressure, let the blade do the work.
Okay.
Thank you, sir. Okay, now we must remove this piece because we need to
Shall I get that out of the
thread
way?
this piece now. Thank you, Andy. Okay. So now putting the piece in the vise in preparation to actually cut the thread.
Stock and die.
Here's our stock and die, but before I use it, always
That's the cutting
put
compound.
the compound on there. And remember when you're putting the cutter on that it's on straight.
Okay.
Okay, people are either left or right-handed biased due to the different, if they're right or left-handed.
Yeah.
What you don't want to do is push further on one side because you will put a skewed thread on.
Right.
Okay, I've exaggerated it,
Yeah.
but that's what will happen. And the problem with that is when you put your coupling on, it will be at a slight angle to the actual piece.
So
Make sure,
tricky then, is it?
yeah, make sure this goes on straight. Okay, once it's started, you will not be able to correct it.
No.
Okay, now when I'm cutting this, roughly 3 revolutions,
And then
back it off.
that's to clear the swarf, is it?
Yeah, swarf. Now swarf is all these little bits of metal that are removed through the cutting process.
Yeah.
Absolutely right. So again, if you find the piece starts to rotate, just nip up the vise a bit more. Yeah.
And you're going for about 3 threads showing through the back of the...
Yeah, 3 to 4 threads.
Okay.
Nearly there
I
now.
can see that. That's, yeah.
There's about 2 threads showing. Just a little bit more. There we go. And then remove the cutter.
Lovely. Is that it now then, Steve? Can that go on?
No, we're not yet quite in a position to put the coupling on yet, Andy. because we've cut through this piece with the hacksaw and threaded it, we've got a sharp edge on the inside.
Okay.
Now, if you can imagine you're drawing single cables through here, that could cut, compromise the integrity of the insulation. You can even peel it off in certain circumstances. So we're going to clean that up.
Okay.
And we use a round file. Okay?
Yep.
We call them ratties, but in the trade. And just gently go through. You don't have to go mad. Cleaning off all this. And as you'll notice, I am wearing gloves.
Yeah. You wouldn't want to be putting your finger there without any gloves on, would you?
No.
Sharp edges.
There you go. So that's all clean. I'm quite happy with that. Just clean any excess compound off.
And that's ready for going on to the...
It will be, yes. The next thing I do will be putting the couplings on either end.
So you put those on first.
Okay, they should spin on nice and sweet, and just put them on finger tight.
Yeah.
Okay. As you can see, they've gone on nice and straight. They're not at any angles at all. Just finger tight.
Now we can move over to the...
And then yes, we offer it up to the accessory point where we're going to install this. Okay, Andy, so I've made the piece now. I've just put finger tight on the actual couplings.
And hopefully it's going to fit.
Offer up to it and it'll fit. Oh, we're just slightly too big, which actually is good in a way, because what I'm going to do is actually nip it up using these gland pliers. People call them chicken legs. When I was on site, we used to call them pipe grips, used to call them pair of dogs, for whatever reason. And all you're going to do is, then you tighten it up.
Just give that a tight, yep.
A bit tight, just nip it. Okay, same with the other one. That's quite nice, that one. Offer it up, and it should now fit sweetly in, which it does indeed. Brilliant. Okay, so now I'm going to install the piece of pipework. Like that.
So what are they called? Is that
These are what we call bushes.
Okay.
20 mil. They're actually short reach, and that's how far the thread length on them. Okay. You don't have to tighten this right up.
Just finger tight.
Yeah. Another run on.
How are you going to tighten those up now?
We're going to tighten these up with a tool called a bush spanner.
And that just fastens on the inside of
It just goes on the edge of the actual bush. Okay. What you can actually do is a bit of a tip. Is just hold the bush for the first one with the actual
with
pipe grip, and just
give that. Oh yeah, that's good, isn't it?
Okay.
Yep.
That tightens it up. You don't need to go mad.
No.
Okay, so this one. Yeah. Sometimes it spins, in which case, just hold it.
Just hold it with the pipe grip.
The pipe grips. You'll notice that you set it so it's not too small, but by the same token, you don't want it too big. You know, so you can comfortably grip it.
Excellent.
Okay, guys. I'll hold it about there, and you just use this to tighten it up.
Steve, that's a great job. Well done. There you go, everyone. I hope you've enjoyed this video. If that's been of use, please like and subscribe, and we'll see you next time.